Dis ons land, dis ons taal, en sonder soek kan ons gaan stories haal. Waar we lewe in die tuine hooggebouw uit sand, die helde sier en die goue straat. Die landskap wat oor generasies vertel, die harte wat in ritme met die golwe val. Ons land, ons taal.
Ben Freeth, 'n Zimbabwiese boer wat in 2008 die aanslag gelei het in SADC se streekhof hier in Windhoek teen wyle president Robert Mugabe se grondgrypbeleid, was gister in Windhoek om kapsie te maak teen die feit dat die tribunaal nie meer sulke sake sal kan aanhoor nie. Ons wys in vandag se program bykomende materiaal wat Irene Marie hier afgeneem het. En dan ook natuurlik, soos elke dinsdag, jou voorskou van wat jy kan sien in vanaand se episode van Agri Monitor.
Attention kids, we have some exciting news for you. We are back and this year we are planning on going big. So listen up. If you are in grade 3, grade 2, grade 1 or pre-primary, we are bringing your free school workbooks to you soon. This is all you need to know about where you can find your books. Books will be available for free in Republican street sale newspapers and all Namibian Sun newspapers. And for all pre-primary kids out there, your books will be delivered to your school in all 14 regions of Namibia. And there's more. Pre-primary books will also be printed in 9 different languages. Check out when your book will be available from the schedule right here. That's not all. Our free online school is there to help you along the way with video lessons and more books to download. You can also follow along on NTV every Monday to Friday from 9:30 to 11:30 for your daily online school lesson. We thank all our sponsors who are helping to build a brighter future for Namibia. Contact us at info@acdtrust.com and follow us on Instagram.
Irene Marie van der Walt is hier by ons. Nou, dit was wêreldnuus gewees in 2008 toe Zimbabwiese boere wat hulle grond verloor het, die regering van Zimbabwe hof toe gesleep het voor die streekshof hier in Windhoek. Jy was nog gister by toe Ben Freeth te perd aangekom het hier in Windhoek. Het hy deur die strate tot by die hof gery of moes hy die perd los?
Hy het gestap saam met 'n perd. So daar was 'n groep mense wat saam met hom op perde aangekom het en toe moes hulle perde langs die pad los, want daar was net een permit vir een perd en toe het hy sy perd gelei. So hy het gestap fisies in die stad in, maar hy het op die perd gery tot hier.
Hy maak kapsie daarteen dat die SADC tribunaal eintlik nie sulke sake meer sal kan hoor nie. Jy was nou self daar teenwoordig. Dit lyk na 'n redelik klein groepie mense wat opgedaag het. Soos ek sê, 2008 was dit 'n wêreldstorie as 'n ou kyk na gister en vandag se nuus internasionaal. Het dit nie baie wyd geslaan nie. So een nuusberig wat ek in Brittanje kon opspoor van the Times. So dink jy die uit sy doelwit regtig bereik 15 jaar so 'n bietjie meer na die tyd.
Ja. Ek weet natuurlik het hy nie sy doelwit bereik nie, want hy kan nog steeds nie boer op sy plaas nie. En dit is wat die hofuitspraak toe nou gesê het in 2008. En ek dink dit is sy doelwit en as jy kyk na die mense wat daar was, dis hoofsaaklik boere wat in Zimbabwe geboer het, wat nou nie meer op hulle land kan boer nie. So nog nie daar nie, maar en as jy die onderhoud dan nou later kyk, sal jy hoor dat hy sê daar is nog stappe, daar is nog dinge wat moet gebeur. Hierdie was net hulle wat nou amptelik gesê het, ons soek 'n regter in die SADC tribunale en ons wil hê dat gewone burgers hierdie hof kan nader indien die howe in hulle lande hulle val. So daar is nog stappe wat hierop moet volg. Hierdie was net hulle aanvanklike ons eis dat X, Y en Z moet gebeur.
Hoe was die gemoed daar gewees?
Ek dink mense was baie gelukkig. Ek dink dit voel asof dit iets is wat mense nou al lank oor stil gemaak is. En ek dink vir baie mense was hierdie uiteindelik 'n manier om iets te sê, om geraas te kan maak. Want dit voel asof hulle nou al verlang so al van die agter ingestoot is en bly maar net stil daaroor, moet niks daaroor sê nie. En ja, dit voel asof hierdie vir hulle nou al 'n verligting was om iets te kan sê, om regtig geraas te kan maak oor dit wat vir hulle belangrik is.
Daar was vooraf kennis, lank vooraf het ons geweet wanneer hy gaan aankom in Windhoek. En weet natuurlik is mense besig, hulle het werk en dis meer, dis daar vir boere ver om te ry, maar Namibië het so 'n bietjie afstand geneem, jy weet, voor die tyd teenoor die ding met, jy weet, argumente oor dat dit nou die vrede sal ontstig hier in Namibië. Wat dink jy oor sulke opmerkings? Moet ons nie al in Suider-Afrika, spesifiek in 'n land soos Namibië, jy weet, volle erkenning gee aan mekaar se verskillende opinies, sonder om, jy weet, bevrees te wees oor wat die reaksies daar mag wees?
Ek dink veral in die geval van Ben Freeth, dit gaan oor die Suider-Afrika Ontwikkelingsgemeenskap se tribunale. Dit gaan nie oor 'n Namibiese hof dat Ben Freeth ontstig is oor 'n Namibiese hof nie. Hy het ook op gister se voorblad het ons berig dat hy sê dit is niks teen Namibië nie. Namibiërs was vir hom baie vrygewig, Namibiërs was vir hom baie goed tot nou toe. Dit is nie 'n negatiewe ding nie. So ek voel dit gaan meer oor Namibië se plek binne in die Suider-Afrika Ontwikkelingsgemeenskap. Hierdie tribunale het voorheen bestaan en daar was nie verskriklike probleme gewees daarmee nie. Ons het nog steeds vrede gehad toe die tribunale oop was vir gewone burgers, vir gewone maatskappye om hulle te nader. So ek dink jy moet terugdink aan wat leer die geskiedenis van hierdie tribunale vir ons oor wat die moontlike toekoms kan inhou indien hierdie tribunale dan nou sy magte sou terugkry.
Ek het die voorreg gehad om in 2008 voor daardie saak persoonlik te dek vir die koerant. Net, ek dink kortlik van my kant af, Namibië is so bekend vir sy absoluut onafhanklike regbank en ons beskerming van menseregte, en dis juist waar dit hieroor ook gaan. So, ek dink daar's 'n debat wat ons ook raak, hoe kan ons goed ondersteun wat ons nie bereid is om ons SADC te ondersteun nie. Ook op die voorblad vandag, jy kan lees oor Fly Namibië, sukses in die hof nadat die vervoerkommissie hulle aansoek om die hernuwing van lisensie geweier het. Dankie Irene Marie.
Baie dankie Dani.
Kry nog baie meer nuus aanlyn by al Namibië Media Holdings se webwerwe en ook sosiale media. Agri Monitor berig opnuut oor die baie yl wat ons dusver in hierdie seisoen ontvang het. Hier is die weervooruitsigte vir Woensdag. Dit sal wees die 20ste Maart 2024. Rondo 20 met 'n maksimum van 38 daar op Enana. Selfde minimum vannag met 'n maksimum van 36. Boshiwarongo 18 en 35. En Gebouwes in die ooste 19 en 36. Wenties 19 met 'n maksimum van 24. Rehoboth 18 en 35. Aranos 24 met 37 die maksimum daar, en op Oranjemond 19 met 'n warm 29.
5 veeboere van Khois wat weens die droogte uitgeboer het, voel nou hulle boer vooruit en maak 'n verskil in die gemeenskap. Die projekleier van Khois Agricultural Trading, Johannes Janser, en 4 veeboere het 4 jaar gelede nog op die dorpsgronde geboer, maar weens die droogte en veediewe het hulle later geen diere meer oorgehad nie. 'n Barmhartige Samaritaan het tot hul redding gekom. Die doelwit van die projek is om selfonderhoudend te wees en bekostigbare groente aan die gemeenskap te verskaf. AgriMonitor het op Khois gaan kuier. Op Stampriet is 'n versteekte juweel waar groen wingerde jou in die Kalahari begroet. Bokkie en Alta Thorburn het in 2019 'n erf by die Roots plaasprojek gekoop en met grondbewerking begin. Dit is hier op erf 817 met 2 hektaar wingerde waar die druiwe van die Chenin Blanc cultivar in die distilleerdery in Jenever omtower word. Daar is ook 'n spogrestaurant, 'n funksielokaal, oornaggeriewe en 'n kampeerterrein. Johannes, vertel gou vir my van hierdie projek van julle.
Die projek het ons begin om te probeer om selfonderhoudend te wees. Om voedsel te verskaf, nie net aan ons self nie, maar ook aan ons mede-inwoners van die dorp.
En wat het julle alles hier?
Ons het hier rangplan, groentes soos spanspekke, watlemoene, pampoene, botterpampoene, en dan het ons ook eiervrug soos hier wat by staan en tomaties en baby marrows en pedipens.
En ek sien die watlemoene lyk ook baie lekker in die spanspekke.
Ja,
waarmee het julle begin?
Ons het begin met eie wortels en beet.
En toe sukkel julle?
Toe sukkel ons baie want ons het nie ondervinding gehad nie, ons het nie opleiding gehad nie.
Want julle was veeboere, julle was 5 veeboere wat uitgeboer het.
Ja, ons was veeboere eers en toe het ons oorgeskakel na tuinboerdery toe die landlord vir ons die lappie grond aanbied. Dis heeltemal gratis, ons hier niks.
En julle help die gemeenskap ook?
Ons help baie die ouergardes, die pensionarisse en soms die gevangenes en selfs die koshuise.
Meer as 15 jaar gelede het SADC se streekhof in Windhoek beslis dat Zimbabwe die grond van wit boere wat afgeneem is aan hulle moet teruggee en ook die terreur moet staak waaronder die boere gebuk gegaan het. Baie van daardie grond is aan hoë lei natuurlik weggegee. Histories was dit Republikeinse voorblad gewees op 1 Desember 2008 net na daardie uitspraak. Hier volg materiaal van Ben Freeth se besoek gister aan Windhoek. Van hierdie beeldmateriaal was nog glad nie op TV gewees nie. Ook daarna onderhoud deur Irene Marie van der Walt met 'n Zimbabwiese parlementslid.
Joining us after an amazing voyage is Ben Freeth. Ben, you are in front of the SADC tribunal. You have handed over your memorandum to them. How are you feeling after that?
Well, it's a feeling of elation, actually. I mean, you know, it's just been such a long, long journey.
Yes.
Going through very difficult circumstances on a lot of the way, with very little food, very little water, not knowing where I'm going to find grazing for my horse each day, not knowing where I'm going to lay my head. And, you know, you take that first step, and that was on the 28th of November last year, and you take that first step and you think, you know, I've got a lot of steps in front of me. And now, finally, after many millions of steps, finally I'm here on the steps of the SADC Tribunal and have signed the memorandum and said my prayer. And, you know, it's just a feeling of great excitement to have arrived.
Hopefully you're not taking all the many million steps back. How are you getting back home?
No,
Not by stepping.
I'm going to fly back
Fantastic.
to Zimbabwe.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you were last at the SADC Tribunal when you sort of had this momentous victory at this very court, you know, which awarded your farm back to you. How does it feel to be back here now after having once again lost your farm?
Well, in some ways, there's a degree of sadness being back here because there was such a feeling of hope and elation when we got that judgment. And I can remember the lawyers were crying, we were crying, obviously, the diplomats were crying, hardened press people were crying. And it was an incredible thing to know that after all those years of suffering in Zimbabwe, finally justice was being done. And then the whole thing was collapsed and the judgment was never adhered to. And then the court was actually closed down. And so to come back here in many ways is a little bit like coming to an empty shell that needs to be filled again. And that's the whole aim of this journey, is to try and fill this empty shell so that it can be a house of justice for the region, for everyone within SADC. And that house of justice can deliver justice for people, protect people, promote peace, give people hope and a future. And you know, that's what I stand for. And it's wonderful to have my daughter here today. She is the future. And the children are the future of this land. And so it's exciting to be here to try and do something for their future.
Fantastic. So what do you hope happens with this memorandum in the future? Obviously this isn't the end of the line. It wasn't just about walking to the SADC Tribunal. There's an end, you know, an end goal to this. What is that end goal? What do you hope happens?
So in effect, the SADC Tribunal should still be functioning. You know, our president tried his very best to stop it functioning. He tried to get various presidents to sign a new protocol that stopped individuals within SADC from being able to approach the tribunal. And he tried to put this new protocol into force, but it never had enough signatories. It only had a maximum of 9 signatories. And then since then, we went ahead and we took President Zuma to court, and then the Tanganyika Law Society took the Tanzanian president to court. So there's only actually 7 signatories to this new protocol. So the old protocol is still in force. You and me and the person in Mozambique or Angola can still approach this court in theory, but there are no judges at the moment. They are unable to function, and so we need the SADC Secretariat now to order that judges be appointed, that they fill those places in the tribunal, that the clerk is able to do his job, that cases are able to be taken again. Because if they don't do that, they're acting against the SADC Treaty.
Exactly.
They're acting against what the treaty was set up for, which was to protect human rights, to protect the rule of law, to protect democracy. Those 3 things, human rights, democracy, the rule of law, that's what the whole SADC Treaty is about. And unfortunately, the tribunal is not able to do that at the moment. And so as a believer in the SADC Treaty and a believer in the Southern African Development Community and a believer in justice, this court needs to be reopened by the SADC Secretariat so that the SADC can fulfill its function to protect people and to protect their property.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
that everyone can thrive.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that your daughter Anna is with you here. Just quickly, can you tell me a little bit as a father, what is that feeling like seeing Anna here today, being able to share in this with her?
I feel incredibly proud. You know, it's a wonderful thing that she was there on the very first day of this walk.
Yes.
And she walked from Mount Carmel Farm, from her childhood home. And she walked that first day and she got a heat stroke on the way. And she carried on. And then I've been walking ever since. And then she's come to join me on this day. She arrived yesterday, she's flying out this evening. And so I feel incredibly proud that as a father, that she's there to support her dad on this journey for justice, on this journey to restoration, on this journey to create a future for her generation and the generation after her.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, Ben. This is Ben Freeth, who has just concluded his walk to hand over a memorandum to the SADC Tribunal.
Die golven van ons land ontstaan.
Joining us is Brian James at the Walk for Justice. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
So Brian, tell us a little bit about your journey. You've had quite a journey from farmer, ousted farmer, I think I could say, to MP. Tell us a little bit about your interest here.
Well, once leaving the farm, living in town there, I was persuaded to get involved with opposition politics, which I did, and subsequently ended up as the mayor of the city of Matari, which is where we lived, just outside there. Served a term there and then retired, and then on the latest election was asked to represent Matari Central. Well, after much deliberation, accepted, campaigned and won the seat, and now I sit in the National Assembly.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your farm and about this campaign.
Well, the farm itself, I was in a transitional period. I'd bought a property outside the city of Matari, and I was in the process of relocating there when the 2000 program started. It was every farmer can tell you a story on what happened on their properties. There was a lot of violence, as I'm sure people know. I had other businesses in the city, so I stayed in the city there, and that's when I was asked to represent a ward in council and subsequently became their mayor. Ben Freeth is a good friend of ours, and obviously being concerned about the compensation and land tenure, security of land tenure for that matter, I'm happy to support where I can.
Okay, great. So why do you think the walk to the SADC Tribunal is important in your fight for justice?
Well, the whole thing about the SADC Tribunal is individual property rights, not so much property rights, but human rights. And after the successful ruling that Ben Freeth got all those years ago, various presidents of SADC countries basically disbanded the human rights aspect of the tribunal, and we actually want it reinstated so that some 400 million inhabitants of the southern region of SADC can have recourse to justice.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us.
My
Brian.
pleasure.
That was Brian James, an MP of Zimbabwe.
Thank you.
Attention kids, we have some exciting news for you. We are back, and this year we are planning on going big. So listen up. If you are in grade 3, grade 2, grade 1 or pre-primary, we are bringing your free school workbooks to you soon. This is all you need to know about where you can find your books. Books will be available for free in Republican Street Sale newspapers and all Namibian Sun newspapers. And for all pre-primary kids out there, your books will be delivered to your school in all 14 regions of Namibia. And there's more. Pre-primary books will also be printed in 9 different languages. Check out when your book will be available from the schedule right here. That's not all. Our free online school is there to help you along the way with video lessons and more books to download. You can also follow along on NTV every Monday to Friday from 9:30 to 11:30 for your daily online school lesson. We thank all our sponsors who are helping to build a brighter future for Namibia. Contact us at info@acdtrust.com and follow us on Instagram.
Met die golven van ons land ontstaan.
Dit was lekker om saam met jou te kuier. Sluit môre weer by ons aan.